Welcome back to my channel. Basically, in our previous videos, we tried to learn how to write basic Python code. We tried how to print some strings as well as some lines, and we tried to do some calculations. I is equal to 10, j is equal to 20, I star j, try to print it. We also used to find some like results based on some conditions using if else. We also used elif. So basically this is like a primary set of codes which a developer usually write, who writes his code using Python. But again, a very fundamental thing which we need to understand, it's just not writing code. We understand a little bit more deep into how we write the code. For example, if someone asks you to calculate, like write some Python code to calculate or multiply two numbers. So how do you write? It's not just writing Python code is a good practice. So what you can do basically is, let me try to explain you how this is structured. So the code which you're writing is Python code, okay, which is logic. I would call it logic. It's a base Python code. This base Python code, the logic, business logic which you are writing is not enough. This code should lie inside something called a Python function. Okay, so everything is Python code again, but I'm just talking, this is base Python code, what you're writing, the logic. That logic should lie inside something called a function. It means if someone asks you to write Python code to multiply two numbers, you have to write your code to multiply two numbers here, but you have to keep that code inside a function. Why? Because the function is reusable. So if you write code inside a function, you can call that function multiple times inside that Python file. So if you have something like if you have a Python file called a.py, so a.python file has a function called cal, calculate, for example. This function can be used many times as required at any point of time, at any place inside the a.python file, if you write it as a function. If you don't write it as a function, the logic which you have written here should be duplicated. You have to write the same logic multiple times. Why not? It's just two lines right now, but in future you may have 100 lines of code which needs to be rewritten, duplicated wherever it's required if you do not have function. So that is the reason we use function. So whenever you start writing Python code, always try to use functions. That's very important. Why functions? Because functions are reusable. And now, apart from writing functions, try to understand a concept called module. So these functions, or all this set of functions, will lie inside a module. Again, why module? Because just Python code is fine. We came to something called function. Why function? Because we are reusing inside the a.py. Now what happens is there is a situation where we have another file called b.py. So now I want to use this cal function inside b.py. If we use a function, it's not possible because a function can be used only inside one file. The scope of this is limited to one file. So if you want to use it in b.py, you cannot use it. So you have to rewrite the function again cal here. So that's a big issue. The reason why we are writing cal is to make sure we use it in multiple files, multiple places, not only in one file. So there we use a concept called module. So now if you create a module, the function which you have written can be used in all these files. So that's the reason we create a module. So it's very, very important for a user to create a module so that all the functions which he or she is writing will be part of this module. So module will just have all the functions. And what user does in a.py, they will import this module. Import this module in A, import this module in B, just using a single line, import so on so. And then you can just call the method, call the function. So okay, so it's very, very important for you to follow this approach. From today, if you are planning to write some code, you can write some code. Agree, one, step number one, write this code. Step number two, write that code inside a function. Step number three, place this function inside a module. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to make our code optimized so that you can use the same function code in multiple areas. So simple logic, whenever you write code, but write code inside a function, write function, but write function inside a module. So if you learn these three, you should be very good in terms of writing Python code. So in future videos, what I will do is I will try to make it very, very simple for you how to work on these areas. I'll try to write some simple Python code, put it in a very, very simple function, and then we'll run it. Similarly, in future videos, I'll show how to create modules, and each module will have all the functions, and all these functions will be imported inside a file which we are going to use that module, that function basically. Okay, so if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want similar videos, try to click on the bell icon, and let's meet again in next videos. Thank you. Bye bye.